It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Inside with the Mayor. It's Jim Quinn along with Mayor Anthony Fanucci from the great city of Vineland. And Mayor, I was with your good friend Lou Magazoo the other day, and he's doing a lot of work in Vineland and was talking to some people. And of course, he finally had the right title for this guy, America's Mayor.
I'll take it.
Yeah, tell you what, you look great.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You really do. You look fantastic.
Keeping the weight off, trying to stay fit, do some exercising, and just keeping extremely active, which is a good thing. So it really helps, and thank you.
Yeah.
I tell people, the suntan from the sunroof helps, and kind of like a cat most days, but it helps make the gray hair not look so bad.
Well, you can go see my hair person. She makes my gray hair look good.
I love it.
That is great. I'm glad to hear that.
I was with Lou today, as a matter of fact.
Were you really?
Yeah, he was in working with one of his clients on some residential development things that are they're looking at in Vineland. So, yeah, a lot of good stuff on the horizon for sure.
How's Hans Lambert? I haven't seen him.
He's doing well. I saw him today driving down Landis Avenue, and I happened to talk to him through text for a minute. And he's doing good. Busy. His projects are busy. He's got a lot of stuff going on. Hans, he's always got something in the frying pan.
Yeah, he does. What a wonderful job he's done at East and Landis, over near the Newcomb Hospital property.
Yeah,
everything there. It's just been.
He's a resilient man. He hung in there a long time through multiple administrations.
Until you got there, yeah,
that was brutal. When Mayor Bermudez wouldn't support that project when he was mayor, and we really had to get involved as a city council to get it to move forward. And frankly, people said, "Oh, there's no need for that." He filled up in no time.
Had a waiting
built
list.
2 more, got those filled, and still has a waiting list. So I don't know. I think he was on to something here. So,
I do too.
Senior housing's important.
Boy, it sure is. I remember first time I met Hans, my cousin Joe Baruffi, who's the mayor of Buna.
He was with me today.
Was he really?
Yes.
Cousin
I saw him today too. Yes.
Well, you've seen all
these
good
you know what? I
guys.
had a good day today. I got
sure
to see
did.
everybody.
Yeah, that's super.
Joe looked great too.
I just talked to him. It's interesting. We've been fortunate. The county of Cumberland has hired us to do the county commission meetings.
Okay.
They are the second and fourth Tuesday of each month. And Joe Baruffi with Borough of Buna and Landisville and Buna, Minatola, and Landisville, we do their council meeting, and it's the last Monday. But anyway, what ended up happening for this month is because the last Monday of the month's Memorial Day, Joe was going to move it till Tuesday, and I said, Joe, we got the county on Tuesday, so we're going to have the Buna council meeting on this coming Monday. So
very nice.
That way everybody will be able to be there. But, well, I'm sure you know it, but I'm so proud of my cousin Joe. His wife, Jill, is the reason he and I are cousins. She's Harry Curley's daughter.
Right.
And it was great to be at Harry's 90th birthday party a few months ago.
God bless.
See one of your buddies there, Father Bertnozzi, Steve. He went to St. Augustine Prep.
Bernazzi? Oh,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. He was a few years behind me. Great young man.
Isn't he, though?
Yeah, great young man.
Yeah, he's in Collingswood, actually, where he is now. And sometime you got to meet my buddy David Rivera.
Oh, yeah, the construction Dave.
No, this Dave's a priest.
Oh, different Dave Rivera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Dave and I, and he's about Steve's age. They're both
okay, so a little behind me.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. Dave grew up in Camden with the Camden Catholic, or one of the Catholic high schools up there.
Okay.
But he's now the pastor of St. Joe of Hamilton, as well as St. Andrews in Hamilton.
Okay.
And just a great, super guy.
Great church community there in Hamilton.
Unbelievable. You ever been to St. Joe Hamilton Church?
My sister used to teach many years ago at St. Joe's in Hamilton. And then, of course, I've been in the church over the years for, like, the festival and the masses, especially, as a young man, I used to go over every year with my mom. to the mass, and then when you get there as you're older and you're going to the festivals, you still stop into the church and and stop and pray. But what a great church! What a great church community!
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of attending mass there for different reasons over the years, and just Hamilton's a great town, though.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great. Next to
Right.
Vineland, it's one of the best around. I mean, they've got some really great restaurants.
Yes.
I love the Nada's Wine Bar. Iliano's, it was after I went up to Mass with Father Dave, 5 o'clock, and I had never been in St. Joe. My goodness, it's a giant church. I mean, it's big. It's
pretty.
Yes, it is beautiful. So I stayed for Mass, and after Mass, what I really liked about David is most of the Italians are too, but he's Puerto Rican, but many of my Puerto Rican friends are very warm and friendly, and he just loves people. He's hugging them, shaking their hand, and all that stuff. And then afterwards, he and I went to Iliano's for dinner, and we walk in, and it's Father, Father, Father. It's almost as popular as you were.
It's okay.
It was great. I said, man, they really love you here. But he's such a nice person, and I'm so glad because there's a shrinkage of priests.
Cool.
You know that, how tough it is to find.
You're not kidding.
Yeah.
I'd love to meet him.
Yeah, that would be great. In fact, maybe sometime I could bring him.
So
down.
Iliano's Coach Radio's son owns that now.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand has been doing a phenomenal job. I've
Yeah.
yet to get out there since he's taken over ownership.
Yeah.
My sister was there with my mom and my brother-in-law and family not that long ago and said it was very, very good.
It is.
So I'm happy to hear that. And of course, his son-in-law owns Anada's.
Yes, wine bar.
Yeah. In Hamilton.
Have you been there too?
Yeah.
I love that place.
Been to a number of events.
The chairs are the most comfortable.
They're so comfortable.
In the world.
You get in them and you don't want to get out.
That's true. Yeah. No, I really, and of course, as Vineland has a lot of great restaurants, so does Hamilton, especially as small as Hamilton is. But
some really good cannolis in Hamilton right there, down the block from Anada's at Menino's. It's a weakness, and I have my traditional time of year where I have certain dates that I go out there specifically for their cannolis, and Gabby does a phenomenal job out there with her cannolis and stuff, and then of course if you're at Anada's and you're picking something up, it's nice, and it's a great spot if you're a people watcher.
Yes.
Because Anada's has all those windows, and you can go.
Yeah.
And it's still Hamilton's downtown still has that throwback feel to it.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's almost like it's never lost its charm that way.
Exactly. And it's interesting. Millville, at least when I was mayor, we had that throwback charm.
You sure did.
The place was busy. Now it's half empty, and yet Hamilton is still busy. And
it's amazing.
It's a great job.
And for Millville, Millville has so much potential. It's got, it's like raw clay, right? It could really be molded. And your downtown is great because your street's not super wide. Like Landis Avenue is too wide
to talk to each other across the street. Yeah,
exactly. And back when you had the Fridays. Yeah, exactly. The Fridays were great. We would go over. You had a lot of good restaurants there, a lot of good bars. Yeah. There was not a lot of trouble.
No.
Very rarely.
Yeah.
But you could go over for a few hours and come back towards Vineland, or if you were out for the night and you were hopping, from Vineland to Millville and then Millville back to Vineland, or vice versa. Or if you went to Bridgeton first and you worked your way to Millville, then back home to Vineland to make your last stop wherever it was going to be, you could do that. Those days it's a shame they're gone right now, but they can come back with the right leadership and the right business sense for people.
Millville's got their election coming up in November, and I just hope and pray that 5 really good people get into
all 5 seats are up.
That's the stupid commission form of government. It's amazing, folks. In Millville, you've got the worst form of government in the state of New Jersey. There's only 4 of you left. Everybody else has what we have here in Vineland and Bridgeton and Sea Isle and everywhere is the mayor council form of government. Where Millville is so messed up. I tell the story that one year Chet Goodwin was a super guy. He was the mayor. I thought did a great job. He did the background sort of like you did, insurance, accounting. He was really a great guy. So I go to the booth and I got my 5 votes and I give Chet my first vote. Well, my 5th vote I give to another nice fellow, but not meant to be the mayor. Boom, he goes right to the top. He's the mayor, and it's like, oh my God. It almost killed him. I mean, he's a friend of mine. The blood pressure was off the chart. Just wasn't his cup of tea. But because of this screwed up form of government Millville has, you have no idea who's going to be the mayor.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, at least like you went through the school board, you went through council, you worked your way up,
Yeah.
you had experience. The first two people that finished in Millville had no experience whatsoever in government at all. I'm nice people, but by God, it takes some learning process and go through budgets and things like that. But it's scary. I think there's almost 20 people running, and other than Joey Dorella, who's the only one that has a lot of experience, but I don't know what's going to happen for there. I like Mayor Romanek, but I'm not sure what's going to happen in that. That'll be interesting. But 20 people, 5 become the commissioners, and then each one top vote getter's mayor, second top vote getter's vice mayor, and then they each have their own department. But the one thing I found with a commission form of government, when I was there, I tried to get a petition started to change the form of government to mayor council. But the commissioners didn't want to change it. And the reason is each commissioner is like a mini mayor of his own department. So, like, if you're the department head of public safety, no one except that commissioner has any power over public safety. The mayor doesn't, no one does. So each department has its own power. That's not necessarily a good thing because it's not working. And you can see in Millville, they're losing cops, crime is increasing, there's all kind of problems going on. And yet, who do you turn to? I mean, and I know the public safety director had no experience whatsoever, ever, in any of those fields. And it's just not, to me.
It's sad. You're right, because they can't function like most good governments do, right?
Yeah.
And that's very difficult because if all you're worried about and you're consumed by the power or the authority of your individual department,
right.
What about the betterment of the city?
Yeah.
What about the betterment of all your constituents, the people that live there, the people that are doing business there, and then the people that are looking to come in there and possibly live or do business there? You don't have that for them, and I know that's difficult. And I know, unfortunately, Mayor Romanek's been dealing with the hard time in recruiting police officers, and I think they may have just settled a contract recently that helped maybe a little bit with salary, I've heard. But that's a big deal too. But you can only afford to pay so much if you don't have enough ratables to back it up.
Exactly.
It's a challenge in that respect, and and if you don't have public safety, who wants to invest in your community?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And Millville is such a great town, and I tell you, I envy parts of Millville because you have waterway.
Sure.
You've got
the river, you got the lake, Laurel Lake and Union Lake.
That lakefront along the area where there's roadway should be flooded, pardon the pun, with businesses and restaurants and bars and different levels of entertainment, for people that are there, because in there, you go to the shore, I go to the shore.
Exactly.
We like being near the water.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? If you're in your own backyard and it's, I don't know, springtime, early summer, fall, when the weather's nice, and you're sitting there waterfront, wouldn't it be nice? I'd be trying to attract another, boat facility in there somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not going to have a Silverton Marina like you did many years ago when they built the yachts there.
Yeah.
But you could have something. There's other boat manufacturers. There's other ways to to entice them, but they need some help. And unfortunately, I see sometimes the lack of collaboration on that commission, and there's a lot of infighting, and then that goes a long way in hurting you. So, hopefully, things will move in the right direction, and and they can, be able to get a group that will support each other for the betterment of Millville. And honestly, I would assume that the commission itself could vote out that form of government and vote in a new form, or does it have to go to referendum?
It has to go to referendum, Yep, and like I say, it was tough because with my guys, it's like, oh, I don't want to give up my department. I don't want to give up my department.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you have, and in fact, speaking of the river, City Park, which is right across the river, recently had a killing. A woman was killed at City Park, shot.
Jeez.
So, I mean, do you really, you'd like, go, oh my God, I don't know if I want to go down there. I mean, even after the football games, there's been gunshots. And I don't know if I ever told you this story. I would not make a good NRA member. I think no one except police should have guns. But I know, no, I have a right to my gun. Okay, if you need it, I guess you do. But that's why we have police. But anyway, as you look at the guns, I spoke as the mayor in 2001 at a candlelight vigil for a young man who was shot and killed in his home. They went right in his house, into his bedroom, shot and killed him. It was obviously drug related, I suspect. Anyway, one of the ministers asked me to come and speak, and I did. And I went out and extended my condolences to the mother and to his sister. And then I spoke to the crowd, about 50 people, and I said the following, and this is the way I feel. I said, I feel strongly anyone possessing an illegal gun should do 3 to 5 years in prison. I come off the steps of the porch there. One of the police officers comes over to me. He said, hey, Mayor, half the people you just said that to right now are packing guns. I said, oh my God. Jesus. He said, I'm telling you. And then I said the same thing at the high school to a history class, and a big kid who lived in the neighborhood raised his hand. I said, yeah. He said, hey, Mayor, you live where I live. You'd want to have a gun. I'm thinking, oh my God, is this terrible? This is horrible. But I remember being in in Disney World many years ago, 30 years ago, I guess, or whatever. And I'm standing in line, and in front of me are a family of 4 from Great Britain.
Okay.
And the woman turned to me and she said, can you explain something to me? I said, what's that, ma'am? She said, my sons are 18 and 20 years old. They can't have a drink in the United States, where, we are in Florida. I said, yeah. She said, but yet you can go over to that sporting goods store and buy guns. I said, welcome to America, land of opportunity. And I know there's a lot of people out there that totally disagree with me, but I just don't see them doing any help. I mean, I thank God, we have police departments, state police, local police, and things like that, but it's not going to change. I mean, the NRA is so powerful, I could never win as a Republican, I tell you that, because that's what they support, the NRA, and I guess, yeah, okay, maybe you need it, but from what I've seen, a lot of those things where a person has a gun in the house, one of the kids in the house accidentally shoots somebody or shoots themselves. I've never had a gun in my house. I don't want a gun in my house, and I thank God we have police.
Listen, you're absolutely right. I mean, and I could tell you, as Hunter, we grew up in a hunting family, and this is what we've done. So we've learned to respect firearms and what to do and not to do. I do not believe in illegal gun ownership in any way, shape, or form. If you shouldn't have it, you shouldn't have it, and especially if it's illegal or it's homemade and things of that nature. No.
Well, and the Uzis. Do you really need an AR-15?
Listen, it's a shame because bad apples ruin everything for every bunch, right? Yeah. Including something like that. Yeah. You have competitive shooters, you have recreational shooters, you have people that are just gun enthusiasts, and frankly, they get a bad rap, some of them, because of the mishandling that other people have that are careless with their firearms, even the legal ones that they're very careless with. And that's just not good. I've gone through training, I've gone through a number of courses, to learn different things, because if you ever encounter something, you want to be able to be prepared to handle that versus, being so frightened of it. But that's the problem. Too many bad apples have weapons, and it's frankly, some of them have weapons that outgun the police officers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had a friend, her ex-husband had 12 guns. His buddy had 100 guns.
Jesus.
Says, oh, that's really good. We need 100 guns. I mean, I don't have a problem with people going out hunting. They're shotguns usually. They go out and they
rifle
hunting.
shotgun, something, right?
Mm-hmm. Which is fine.
Bow
that's
and arrow.
sport. People love that, sure. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I've never had the interest in it, but I understand that's a sport that people enjoy. Yeah, and that's fine. But you don't need an AR-15 or an Uzi or something to go out and shoot deer. You use the gun.
No, it's a lot of deer you're taking.
Sure is. But unfortunately, when that's used in mass shootings, and I tell you what, just Google or Siri how many murders there are in England, Ireland, France, etc. Very, very few. You know why? They don't have guns. I mean, I'm not saying there are some illegal guns.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
But generally, it's not prevalent, and it's just something that occurs. But anyway, when we come back, we're going to stop talking about guns. We're going to talk about some of the great things going on in the city of Vineland, and we'll be back right after these messages.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great health care for everyone.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
We're all looking for God. All the signs point to, there is really a God. We try to find Him in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of places, and through all kinds of things. But there's only one way to find Him. That's by personal experience with Him. Come visit us this Sunday. We can introduce you to Him. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to Insight. Jim Quinn along with Mayor Anthony Fanucci from the city of Vineland. And we're going to stop talking about guns and all that. We're going to start talking about some other good things that are going on in the city of Vineland. Now, Mayor, I know the last time we were here was exciting news about the convention center. And how is that progressing?
Doing good. They're in process now of getting the facility prepped and ready to go. Tons of inquiries, from people that want to book the convention center. So for the many people that were critical and said that's never going to work on Landis Avenue, well, it's going to work. Yeah. Because they'll be booked solid before you know it. So it's amazing. Super. But Sandy's department's doing a great job and getting all that together, and it won't be long before we have it fully outfitted and ready to go. So that's just been a great thing. It's been a lot of positive buzz. Recently, I don't know if you saw the Travel and Leisure article that came out on Vineland.
Yes, yeah.
It's great because a lot of times you see those things on the internet and they're some fake news source that either throws you under the bus and says you're the worst community ever, or there's someone that says, oh, this is the greatest community ever. Well, guess what? We got a legitimate source that came in and talked about us and in the Northeast here being, one of the best places to retire and live because of the cost of living, the quality of life, all the solid infrastructure, what we have tax rateable base, what we have for transportation, and they also noted that all the improvements that have been done in the city in the last 8 years or so, and then things that we have on tap, which was it was such a pleasure to see a credible news source like that or an outlet really give us a positive plug.
Yeah. Well, that's why, we talk about all the great things that are happening in Vineland. We're not making them up. Drive around. Look, I'm on my way here today. I keep looking at David Construction Company's beautiful 5 homes on Lincoln Avenue, and I'm sure they're already sold. And, like I said, the time I went out to Pickwick to meet my Phillies ticket agent, I spent a whole bunch of time out Hansbridge Road and all in East Vineland. I went, oh my God, look at all the farming. I don't even think about that because I don't usually get out that way. But, you've got everything, 69 square miles of everything from farming to industry. Geez, talk about industrial park. It is packed. And, just all the good things and all the good people that are involved with it. It's just really wonderful. One of the things I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is I had, I'll think about it. The county director from Salem County, Ben Laurie, was on my show.
Great guy.
And I know that they're excited about working with the city of Vineland on the broadband. And I had the opportunity to talk to Tony Quigley. In fact, I said to Tony, I'd love to meet him. Tell everybody who Tony Quigley is.
And so Tony is the head of the city's IS department. Right. And the IS department takes a number of roles on, and it's not just plugging your computer in and getting your phones operational. In Vineland, it's a lot different because I pledged many years ago when I ran for mayor the first time to become what we called a smarter city, and not just a smart city, if you will. Because the connotation of smart city is kind of geared around one thing in many people's minds, but a smarter city is efficiencies, and it's all through, technology-based initiatives. And Tony spearheaded all of those for us, has done a fantastic job, including the fact that we're, ramping up for our own broadband network, which we will have in place in the very near future. And that's incredible. So he's done a great job with his team in working on the broadband infrastructure, implementation of the plan, also upgrades to our fiber optic network through the Vineland Electric utility as well. They've looked at customer service interfaces that are completely new and different and more efficient now, different portals to get on through the web to do everything. We redesigned our website, our social media. We put a real presence out there on all the important platforms that were there, which we did through public relations and partnership and collaboration with IS. We've been doing different things with our My Vineland app, where you whip out your smartphone and you could pay your taxes. You can find out about what's going on in the city calendar, different tidbits and blurbs about activities. There's content that's constantly there. When you come into City Hall now, remember years ago in the old City Hall where you had just like the board with the little letters you put in there for, you go to this floor and it's this guy and that one. Electronic now, it's screens like your display monitors now. It's digital, and then things rotate. So we have static things to let you know what floor electric utility is, what floor customer service is, what floor the mayor is, which is great. But then we have other ones that rotate and have different messages on the messaging board every day. When visitors come to City Hall now, if you come in and you have a meeting with me and you want to talk about bringing your business here, well, you're going to walk in, and as you're walking in, at some point it's going to rotate and say, welcome, Jim Quinn, of Quinn Broadcasting, and thank you for coming to City Hall today in the city of Vineland. Your picture's probably going to be there. And you're going to come in and people are going to know that you're coming. It's going to be advertised that you're there, and and we try to do these things to really highlight what's going on.
Yeah.
And sometimes companies are very private. They may not want that. They'll give us an advance like, hey, listen, we want to have a very quiet meeting because we're looking at this. We can't disclose locations, so you don't do that. But in many cases, we're able to do that and really honor people.
Sure.
We had a visitor from the Italian consulate in this year.
Wow,
who came in. And he was there, so we were able to highlight that. And he walked in and he was floored to see his picture and his name up there and the flags. And he's like, "Oh my goodness!" And that, believe it or not, that's circulated all through the City Hall and through our various departments outside of City Hall, which then circulated in the community. And he said, "How in the world did that happen?" So it helps create a buzz.
Yeah.
But it's also much easier for people to be accessible now. And we try to be accessible with technology for those people that cannot get to City Hall. Either they don't have transportation, they're infirm, they have a disability, whatever it may be. So there's a lot going on. So Tony and his team have really done a lot to help us in what we've been doing in City Hall, and I'm forever grateful for his leadership there.
Yeah, very impressed with him. I spoke to him several times. Very, very nice man, and knows his internet, knows the IT business for sure, which is great to have. So I'm really glad to see that. The other situation that you have that's so wonderful, folks, as a business coming to Vineland, they have their own electric utility, and boy, I don't hear good things about Atlantic Electric. Everywhere I go, government people are frustrated. They can't get things done that they need to do. And I know I had a fellow who was talking about buying, to get into that for you guys, the computer storage place. Wanted to put it on my land in Upper Deerfield. And to get the power he needed, he couldn't get it from Atlantic Electric. So, you having your own electric utility obviously has a better shot of controlling it. And, that's something. And that's something. Why don't you tell us about what's going on with that? There's some good movement on that for you.
Oh, definitely with the data center.
Yes,
so it's tremendous. And folks, what Jim's talking about is having our own electric utility allows us to be able to maneuver things a little bit differently. The one challenge we do have that continues to be an Achilles heel, if you will, is transmission lines. And referring to the Board of Public Utilities, it hasn't really mandated these infrastructure upgrades on the utilities or supplied them the ability to have assistance to do that over the years. they've hampered them more so with regulation and restriction, which has hurt Atlantic
Yeah,
in many
that's
cases,
true.
because I think in their part of their defense, for them to want to be able to do certain things, they have not had the ability to do it. And then, of course, when you have a governing body such as a utility board, they really need to be driven on infrastructure, continuing to be upgraded and maintained. And unfortunately, as political appointments, sometimes people don't really see it for what it is, or they're there to fill a role, and they're not really being proactive in helping to advance that for all the people of New Jersey who they're supposed to really be serving. Having said all that, we've been able to work out a deal, and we've worked with Atlantic on their transmission lines and working on some upgrade of their infrastructure to supply power to this data center that we've been blessed to have
right,
here in
yeah.
Vineland, that's being constructed
Yeah.
now.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Ruga's put that up quick.
Well, he is. You're not kidding.
He's amazing. John Ruga is amazing.
There's no holding him and Lori back.
No, that's right, Lori. too.
Oh yeah, listen, she's the boss. John,
Yeah.
if you're watching,
Yeah.
we know. But it's true. They are a great team.
Yeah, they are.
They
Yeah.
work very, very hard.
Yeah.
Our community is extremely blessed to have
Yes.
them here as
Yeah.
people. Very blessed to have their business here as
Yeah.
well. And frankly, their vision and their inherent ability to continue to grow. They're faithful people, and
Yeah.
they believe in a plan.
Boy, and to their credit, in fact, I don't know if you have Frank Corpino.
Yeah, I know, Frank.
Frank's a good friend of mine, and Frank was praising Lori and John recently. He said, because I was the mayor of Millville when he opened his Superior Walls in Millville, and just great. I think, my God, this is neat. This is many, many years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And Frank Corpino said the same thing. He said, Jim, I remember he had a pickup truck, and he was like laying brick and all that stuff, and now he's a very, very successful person with Northeast Precast. It's just done amazing, and he and Lori have taken the business from here all the way to sky's the limit. And then on top of that, partnering Lori and he and Mike Trout, partnering with a golf course, which is going to bring in high-level people, the hotels that the Roth family, thank you, are building. I mean, it's just fantastic how this community is going to keep growing. And what's neat, too, is when people from outside the area, athletes, I mean, I know from a friend of mine, the initial membership is not real cheap. It's $250,000 plus sales tax, which makes it $266,000, I think. But like Philadelphia Phillies players are going to get the memberships, and many people, my friend got two of them, one for him, one for his son, and it's going to be a class act. It's going to be phenomenal, and it's going to draw lots of people to come out and watch these celebrities and all the great golfers playing. In fact, I got to talk to my son, who's the vice president of NBC Sports, to see if we could do some of our golf tournaments here at Vineland, which would be fabulous.
Be amazing.
It really would be. Yeah.
Well, when you think about all the jobs that were created based upon that project, there was a lot of critics early on too that said, "Oh, it's a private course. I'll never be able to be on the course, and what's it going to do for the community?" Well, you took a space that was once a sand mine,
Yes,
right, that had very little use left in
absolutely,
it, and the topography of the ground was just all over the place, and they took a gamble on moving a lot of earth to do something different when they put their precast plant there, let alone the vision for a golf course, which is a very environmentally friendly initiative, right, and great business.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And let alone dumping the amount of money they're dumping into this place, but the construction jobs, the skilled labor jobs that are on there, and will continue to be there because of the, how you monitor wells, how you cut the grass. And I know that kind of sounds very simple, but for a golf course of that caliber, cutting the grass exactly perfect is extremely important.
Especially the greens.
Yeah, right? So, that's important. And then the general maintenance that goes on there. And then, of course, electrical work and plumbing work. And then food and beverage positions that are there.
Yeah,
and then all the people that work for those purveyors that provide food and, and wine or beer or water or soda. All these people live and breathe and pay their taxes and their mortgages and their rent here.
Right.
And they're going to be gainfully employed by that as well, because it's an ancillary attachment to the business.
You know his attorney?
Mike Freilinger.
Yeah, I met Mike at the...
Phenomenal.
Super. I met him at the Phillies Hall of Fame one night. We were talking. And John Knoop, who I just think the world of.
He's a great guy.
Knoop, he just celebrated his birthday yesterday. Happy
birthday,
John. And, I mean, and Will or Hal Noon, who's a super surveying type guy. He does all that kind of stuff. He's got so many great people. In fact, Frank Corpino and I were talking about it the other night. He goes, Jim, he's got some of the best people. And we started going down the list. And to John and Lori's credit, they've got great people working for them that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We're some of the best. John was one of the best engineers I ever had in the city of Millville. Of course, we lost when I got out. We lost
to the county.
To the county, but did a fabulous job there. And he has triplet girls.
No, I didn't realize he had triplets.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy, I pray for you, John. But he's you're right, another great guy.
Yeah.
Their CFO, Mike Timken, is a wonderful guy.
What about he stole my accountant?
Preziosi. Yes. Yeah, Matt's over there.
Yeah.
Another great young man.
Oh, he is, isn't he? Jimmy's boy.
And again, you have people working and getting a great wage and benefits.
Exactly.
And, and they're accomplishing things.
Yes.
And they don't realize the impact that this has had. So for all the people that were so critical, here you go. Now you look at the adjacent property, and all of a sudden, now they're, with all the notoriety this place has got, now you've got a international world-class data center planting its flag literally right here in Vineland. And because of it, and because of our Smarter City initiative and all the branding and marketing we've done collectively to talk about being a smarter city and what we want to do with technology here, we became the perfect attraction for folks like this.
Yes.
And again, we were very grateful for John and Lori's investment in the community, because they weren't afraid to take it on. And now what we've done and what our jobs are to protect this community and build this community and have the resources and the financial ability to do things, well, this is what you've done. And by the way, for people that don't understand what this data center is going to do, the construction alone there, and again, all the the different trades that work on these things, are there. The computer industry, that the amount of money that goes into these things is absolutely incredible.
Right? Millions.
Oh my God, hundreds and hundreds of millions. Like that could be $1 billion deal when it's all done with construction and computer equipment. And by the way, these computer companies, and a lot of the chips are made here in America, and there's different things that are there. Well, now that's going to lead to another building on that site, which will be either data or cloud driven. It could lead to something else on that site, because there's several buildings there, and wielding that kind of power, that's a game changer.
Sure is.
For not just Vineland, but for the entire region.
Yeah.
This has a truly regional effect here that is so positive that it's unbelievable. And again, people just don't, sometimes they're short-sighted, or they don't see what the bigger picture is. But this is important, because when I took over office, we had come through a bad reevaluation in Vineland where we lost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions in tax rateables.
Holy cow.
You know how a reval is. A third of the people are happy because their tax went down.
Yeah.
A third stayed the same.
Yeah.
And then a third went up, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there was a lot of, the valuation was so out of whack in Vineland, it was bad. So our goal was to try to climb out of a hole, because the appeals process took years and years and years, because it started under Mayor Romano's administration, carried into the first 4 years of my administration through appeals and settling appeals.
Wow.
You still have a couple hangovers here and there that just happen, but that's how long it takes to get rid of these things, right? 8, 9, 10 years. Well, now Vineland's rateable base is $3.9 billion.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And thank God we did everything that we did, because coming out of COVID and looking at where we are now in the world with the inflationary costs, had we not done what we needed to do, a city of this size would have been crippled.
Yeah.
Crippled.
Good point.
And fortunately, we've been able to do it. We've been able to save some money along the way. We've done it with little impact to the tax rate over the years, and it's been substantially better than it's ever been. And now when this comes online and these things happen, our goal is to get over the $4 billion mark at some point, in the very near future, with our ratables.
Fantastic.
And I'd love to eclipse that. And and once I get there, now I'm going to be pushing the gas pedal down to go further over that with more development.
With the new things that you're talking about that John Ruga's putting in, the value of that is phenomenal, and it's wonderful to see. And of course, again, you've got your own electric company. You've got John and Lori, who really are putting out all kinds of great things. Whatever they touch turns to gold, and they've done a super job. And just really, and they're good people. They give back to the community.
Oh, absolutely.
and stuff like that, which is fabulous to see. And I mean, I've been to a benefit that they ran, and for veterans it was.
Patriot Fund.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. And I imagine now with the new place, they'll have a banquet facility, sort of like Eastland has, and be able to go there, and just a lot of wonderful things. We are at a great restaurant here in the city of Vineland. It's the Quinn restaurant, and it's one of my favorites. And I'll tell you what, I was here recently with my friend Charles Flickinger, and the two of us walked out. This is the total bill was $32. He and I both got the $15 meals, 16 for one, 2 for 30. So we got the 2 for 30. He got meatloaf, I get the turkey, but they've got spaghetti with meatballs. They've got sauteed chicken scampi, sauteed calf's liver. A friend of mine, Ethan Aronoff, had that. I don't eat calf's liver. Baked stuffed shells, Parmesan, grilled marinated chicken, eggplant parm, which is one of my favorites. I do get that as well. Baked homemade lasagna, baked ziti Parmesan, Italian-style meatloaf, which is what my friend Charles gets, chicken Parmesan. They are some of the ones that you can get, those platters, 2 for $30, and they are, and oh, by the way, you get a salad, or you get soup, you get entree, you get vegetable, you get dessert, all of that for $15. You tell me where you're going to go get that.
Nowhere.
No, and it's delicious.
And the food's quality.
It
here.
is.
Yes.
Well, you know that, Mary. You come a lot.
Absolutely.
And when I go home, of course, I've had that diet surgery, so I can only eat half of whatever they give me. So for me, it costs me $7.50 a platter. I have one here and one at home the next night, or 2 nights down the road. And they're wonderful people here. They really are. Yilmaz Kankel and his staff, Bati, who's one of my favorite peoples here tonight, and the servers are excellent, and it's a beautiful, beautiful restaurant.
They put a lot of money into this place, and made it a very nice, clean, very clean establishment, and service is good, food's very good, and you know what, you can come in here any time of day and really order anything that you
breakfast,
want.
Lunch,
breakfast
like.
is one of my favorite. This is really my favorite stop for breakfast. When we come in, I have a lot of different like breakfast early morning meetings in here, and it's nice, and you get to see a lot of the same faces that come in, your breakfast people, and a great little crowd, but they do a great job.
They really do. I'm so proud of them.
And I'll tell you, there's the plates full of food.
Isn't it amazing?
They do real Italian sausage here for me, which I prefer as my breakfast sausage. You can get it spicy or not.
Oh, that's
and
great.
So they put some thought and care into their menu here at Queen 2 on Lincoln and Landis. So very happy that they're here.
We'll be back with Insight with Mayor Anthony Fanucci right after these messages.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves at making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great health care for everyone.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
We're all looking for God. All the signs point to, there is really a God. We try to find him in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of places, and through all kinds of things. But there's only one way to find him. That's by personal experience with him. Come visit us this Sunday. We can introduce you to him. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to Insight. Jim Quinn along with Mayor Anthony Fanucci from the city of Vineland. We're talking about all the good things that are happening in Vineland. And Mayor, getting back to the internet broadband situation, I know you've been talking with Ben Laurie too. So you're going to sort of head this up and then work with Salem County as well, you think?
So they received a grant for their middle mile network, right?
Yeah.
And which is slightly different than what my project is here for Vineland, because we're going to become our own internet service provider, where we begin from first mile to end mile. And however, in that process, and the grant money that they received and that Cumberland received, we're looking at fiber rings to build out. And then once they're built out, we will be able to supply them wholesale internet directly to them. So it'll be intergovernmental. It'll be more cost effective. It'll be easier for them to supply and do whatever they're going to do with their fiber network. We could possibly look at operating and running their network. I don't know if we will or we won't yet. Depending on how that goes, they may need somebody private for that, depending on what our quote-unquote bandwidth, not figuratively speaking, not literally speaking, will be, because we'll have unlimited here the way it's working.
Well, and it's nice because you already have an electric utility, you have the trucks and things that you could use to put the internet in to the homes and all that stuff. That's fantastic.
And this is technology jobs that are created, so they're a good paying wage. Kids can come out of school that have an understanding of that. There's customer service positions that are available there. There's going to be outside line technicians that handle fiber, and that's all they do. For that, to troubleshoot and do that. And there's going to be equipment. Again, just taking that smarter city concept and implementing it and taking it to the next level. This Vineland is so unique in what we've done. And listen, I can't draw. I can't sing.
I can't either.
I can't play an instrument.
I can't either.
Right? I really can dance about that much.
Me too.
Right? So I didn't get a whole lot of natural talent in life, but what the good Lord did give me, was vision, right, and the ability to be a consensus builder and a team builder, and imparting my thoughts and my vision to people to take things across the finish line. And that's always been my goal for Vineland, and it's frankly why I've stayed in public office at home, and I've never desired to run outside, of the city of Vineland for anything. I applaud our folks that do all that. For me, I wanted to stay within our four corners because Vineland was so good to me, and growing up as a young man, so good to my family, so good to my businesses, so good in supporting me even when I had businesses outside the city. People would travel for miles to come do business with us, and I've never forgotten that. So for me, my ultimate goal in public service was always to do something to, as we call, for a stronger Vineland, or Vineland Strong. Senator Testa and I talk about it. I created this hashtag about 9 years ago, and I said, this is it, it's Vineland Strong. Well, this was important to me, and it means something to me, and that's why my heart and soul is in it. Much like you, you stay in office and you're trying to make things at your home so much better, and you want to be impactful. And let's be real, you're never going to make everybody happy. No. Fortunately, around 70% of the people are happy with what I'm doing, and I appreciate that. And I will forever love them for their support all these years. And when I'm finally done and hang my hat up, and hopefully we're able to get somebody good to come behind me at some point in the future, that maybe can take this to another level from where I've taken it. But they will have a beautiful, beautiful canvas to paint a picture on.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Unfortunately, I didn't have that luxury when I came in. not to be critical of my predecessors, but our focuses were completely different. And for me, it's infrastructure, it's job growth, it's quality of life, and it's the important things. It's cleanliness in the city, it's law enforcement driven, it's public responders driven, and they were important to me, as well as also keeping faith in the community. Because a lot of times people have forgotten, that faith plays a big part here. We're a very religious community.
Yes, for sure.
And it's important, and the clergy are stakeholders here, and the parishioners are stakeholders here, and that's important, and it's a big message. We had National Day of Prayer last week, and I take some criticism sometimes because I allowed to continue to take place on the City Hall steps, where all the pastors come in from all over, and
it's fantastic.
And they have the ability to do that, and I believe in that, just as I believe in someone that doesn't want to practice their faith, or doesn't believe. That's okay. This is the United States of America, and we are entitled. Exactly. All opinions are welcomed, especially here.
Tell everybody about the great news about the Pope.
Yeah, so for anybody that's not sure, we got a new Pope today, which is amazing. Happened a little bit quicker than I thought it was going to be. I was
very happy, surprised. Second vote, and they approved him.
So for us as Roman Catholics, it's obviously a very big deal. It's the leader of the church for us. It's a world-recognized figure. The unique thing is, it's the first time it's ever been someone from the United States.
Isn't that amazing? I know. I just saw that. Well, I didn't realize we never had an American Pope before.
No, and then it's tied back locally because he's a graduate of Villanova, right? So he's also an Augustinian friar. So he's from the Order of St. Augustine, which of course most people know I went to St. Augustine Prep. So the Augustinian order is very near and dear to my heart. I'm still very active with the school and in the mission. This was really, frankly, mind-blowing a little bit today.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Because you haven't seen an Augustinian in there really in a very, very long time. No. They've had influence, but the Augustinian order hasn't always been the order of choice over there, right? Let alone someone from the United States, which has never happened before in all these years. So today was a very important day in the Catholic Church, and honestly, its impact has been felt, frankly, all over the world. In watching, our news and then Italian news, you have people that have made a pilgrimage there that aren't even Catholic to come be there and wait and see what was going to happen, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Of course, it only happens every so many years when the Pope passes away.
Right.
And this guy's young. He's only 69.
I know, which is good because, frankly, that gives you hopefully longer-term sustainable leadership.
Years, maybe.
So you hope that, you pray and hope that, he does a great job, which I'm sure he will. A well-educated man, speaks a number of languages. And again, if he's a solid leader in the church, that's going to resonate in so many different ways around the world and be impactful here in the United States. So that's a big deal today. And honestly, I'm kind of glad it wasn't a long, drawn-out conclave.
Yeah, me too.
Because let's be real, for as much as we love the church, and I'm a Roman Catholic, and cut from Augustinian cloth, there's a lot of politics in the church. And I'm sure there was a lot of politics at play in the decision making around this, and which is very difficult. But the church was a very political animal in its day. And a lot of those popes over a number of years weren't necessarily religious, right? They were families that had a lot of money and a lot of influence in Europe and a lot of power. And they were running that particular position. Obviously, post St. Peter, but. It's really a good thing, and I think that it'll be a good direction, and I'm glad there's stability at the helm again.
Yeah, me too. Well, Mayor, thank you so much for coming in. Always great to see you. You look so good. Keep up the good work. I'm proud of you.
Appreciate it.
And folks, things are going very well in Vineland, and you've heard some of the great things that are going to be happening. And every day there's something new and something good that's coming to the city of Vineland. So we want to thank you for joining us. Ryan Narowski, thank you for producing the show today, and we hope you'll have a great evening. Take care, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there on Sunday. Take care. Goodbye, everybody.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.